Hey, Kyle, how's it going?
I'm all right, man.
You
How
all
are
right?
you?
I'm well. Just enjoying my morning here in Nashville.
Oh, you're not far. Right down the road.
You're in Louisville,
Yeah,
correct?
we're up in Louisville. I'm looking at a
And I
date,
said it
seeing
the
that.
right way, right?
Yeah. Well, I see you're going to be back here May 12th at the Iroquois Amphitheater playing with Mr. Lucas Nelson and the gang. It sounds like it'd be a rowdy show, just to kind of like.
I
I
hope so.
Yeah. It's worth noting, 10 minutes before this call came through, I opened up a big package, and it was a gold record with a picture of your hairy chest next to it.
Yeah,
Congratulations on that.
it's a surprise, and nowadays with the way the industry works for a band like us, a gold record's a big deal for us. I mean, I think it probably is in this industry now, anyways. Just the way records don't sell, and I never thought we were going to have any of this happen. So for that to yeah, it was just a surprise, and it kind of makes me feel like people actually cared about the record and not just the one song, and so it's a good feeling.
Well, it's chock full of great songs. I do got to ask probably a question that's asked about these type of things all the time. Is the audio actually imprinted on these gold records?
I don't know. You crack it open and try to play it.
Maybe I will.
But you'll be real bummed if it doesn't work. So.
It would be. Well, let's talk about the new one then. Tearing at the Seams is the new record. And again, man, I feel like maybe this is a really important record. I mean, this is going to be a stupid way to ask this, but is this the album to prove that it wasn't all a fluke?
Well, I haven't thought of it that way.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad. No. I'm glad I wasn't thinking of it that way, when we were trying to write it. When we went into the studio, my manager Chris was just like, just don't worry about trying to write another S.o.b. or even writing a radio hit. He's just like, just go in and make a record that you guys really care about. And that's kind of what we did. And I feel like it went through kind of three different processes to get to where it was or to where it is now. And we actually had a lot of songs that just didn't even make it on the record. And so, yeah, I hope this is the album that everybody feels like it's not just about one song. That we've really become a band, and we try to record a lot of this record live together in the studio, the way they used to make records, and just try to capture the energy and sort of the feeling we have as a band together on the record, and try to just try to write a bunch of songs for it and see what's stuck, really. So.
And with that said, I mean, it might not even be worth comparing the two, but you played several different styles over your career, but you broke through with a very particular style, and I wondered if that had an effect on this record going into it. Like, do we give the people what they want? Is this my sound for right now?
I think for this record, my influences for it were really different than the first record. I was listening to a lot of Laura Marling and Kevin Morby and Andy Schaaf and Damian Gerardo, and they're all just, kind of singer-songwriter stuff. And I wanted to take sort of that element and narrative and just think a little bit more about what I was writing about and bring that to the record instead of just kind of throwing words on the page. So I don't know, a definitely different approach for me writing this time, and also different in a way of working with the band instead of just hiding away by myself.
Writing those songs, if you're with a band, there comes a point where you sort of have to give up the song a bit, don't you?
Yeah, but I feel like we all know each other so well, and it's not like anybody's trying to get something in on the record because of their ego. I feel like we all really try to serve the song the best we can, and it was a really good experience. But it definitely is different because, you got eight people's opinions, or nine people's opinions, so.
Richard Swift is helping out on this one again. Is that right?
Yeah.
I know he's how do you two work together? Because I mean he's a man that understands how to, and I want to go back a little bit to talking about older sounds, and not specifically the ones that you've done in the past, but he knows how to take something that sort of puts its foot in an older sound, but make sure it's something real and living and breathing right now. Which seems to work well with everything that you've done together. I sort of wonder how the two of you work together.
We kind of have we're really close. I mean, Richard kind of feels like my brother, and that's really, for me, helps out a lot because there's not a lot of tension between us, or you're not having to deal with somebody else's massive ego or anything like that. It's really, we just have a lot of fun. And, Richard's style is go in there and do a good performance,
Do you think that he will ever release that next solo record that's been mythological at this point?
Oh, he has so much material. It's insane. I wanted to come out. I was trying to get him to do a show with us, and he never actually even responded to me on it. I was like, hey man, we're going to curate this festival. The Night Sweats can be your backing band. And you can just show up and play. And he never responded to it at all. So I'll try to do it again, but we'll see. So.
You got to push that man. For you, and it's again maybe sort of a silly question. Has life noticeably changed? Now that you've had the big hit, the big record, the big gold record.
I mean, other than sort of buying a lot of guitars, nothing's really changed for me. So, we work so much. It's been really hard for me to, kind of figure out what the change is. I'm just, still constantly working. So, but that's kind of the biggest change for me is just so much work. But I can't really complain about that either. So I'm not complaining about it. But I'm still trying to grasp where, I know we had the big record, but it doesn't, I don't feel like a rock star or, I'm certainly not going out and spending shitloads of money on expensive bottles of champagne. I live in Pat Meese's basement and, it's still, everything's pretty simple for me. So.
There's something about that Midwestern work ethic that comes along. I mean, you and I come from similar places in a rural town that you sort of have to escape from. In fact, I feel like escape is more than just a triumph when you get away from those places.
Right.
I was listening to one of your singles off this record, Hey Mama, and it has some stern advice, which is sort of that do your job sort of advice. Do you find yourself still, trying to escape those type of places that comes through in your songwriting is the way I'm hearing it? Well,
yeah, I mean, for me, I don't, in that particular song, it's sort of me talking to myself, but, in the idea of the conversation with your mom, just how she's, not just trying to escape those areas, but just that there's so much more to do regardless of how difficult things might seem, and so maybe that's, growing up with that kind of work ethic. And, my mom's still working and, she was cleaning the hotel. Now she's running the kitchen. So, life continues and work always is there. And I just, I don't know that song's so much about escaping those places, but embracing the work that's there and accepting that, there's so much more to life and what we have to offer each other. And there's sort of beauty in that struggle, really.
When I heard that, I could hear, the advice coming from the parent to the child, but I also heard it as you just repeating a mantra to yourself, like, this is the deal.
Yeah, no, it definitely is that. It's funny to write, I feel like with this record, there's a lot of stuff that I was writing from a personal aspect, but wanted to change it enough so that, so that people would connect with it. And, I think the thing I always love about songs is when you're listening to the song and you feel like it was written for you or about your situation and your life. And it's always left up to the interpretation of the listener. And that's kind of the beauty of songs to me, it's just like, man, when I listen to something, I'm like, God, this is totally about me and what's happening in my life right now. And, I'm trying to write from a perspective for this record that I hope people can connect in that way to the songs.
No, that's what we're all craving as music fans. That's what we want, and you're dishing it out, so I appreciate it.
Oh, hey, I'm trying. Luckily I'm kind of a screw up, so I keep just the material just flows out of me.
Yeah, well, thanks for bearing your soul as you did bare your chest.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Nathaniel, it's been a real pleasure talking to you. We'll see you again May 12th at the Iroquois Amphitheater. It's going to be fun.
All right, I look forward to it. Thanks for your time.
All right, man. Take care.
You too.